Picture this. You're living in the European Union. Smartphone in your pocket. Always online. But back in 2004, in a tiny Romanian village, 6 men dug up their uncle's corpse. They tore his heart from his chest, burned it on the cobblestones, and drank the ashes dissolved in water. This wasn't some medieval ritual. Well, not exactly. It happened while the rest of the world was looking the other way. And they did it for one reason. They believed that man, already dead, was coming back to kill them. But to get why they did it, you have to understand a sacred rule in Romanian Orthodoxy. After death, the soul wanders the earth for 40 days. During those days, the living have one absolute duty: offer the pomane, alms and ritual feasts to feed and appease the departed. If that pact breaks, if the living fail, the soul gets stuck. And a stuck soul doesn't find peace, it transforms. The village is Marotinu de Sus, Dolj County, Romania. The year is 2004. The country's about to join the European Union, but here, time had stopped dead. Petre Toma, 76, drops from a heart attack just before Christmas. The family's grieving, but something's off. People start complaining about chronic fatigue, nightmares, a feeling of suffocation in their sleep. When a young daughter-in-law dies suddenly, the community's verdict is instant and unmistakable. Petre has become a Strigoi. Not the pale aristocrat from the movies. A Strigoi mort, a corpse bloated with blood, feeding on the life force of his own family. On the night of January 9th, 6 men from the family make a decision. They don't call the police. They don't call a priest. They grab shovels and pickaxes and head to the cemetery under cover of darkness. They dig up the coffin and pry it open. Petre's body is right there. They pull his heart out with their bare hands, carry it to the dirt road, and burn it. Then, with the same cold focus you'd use to survive, they gather those ashes, dissolve them in a glass of water, and drink. When the police arrest them for desecration of a corpse, the men show no remorse. What they show is relief. They tell investigators that after swallowing those ashes, the weight on their chests was gone. To them, it wasn't a gruesome crime. It was a cure, a desperate immunization against a curse that modern medicine couldn't explain. This case isn't a medieval anomaly, or rather, not entirely. The Strigoi doesn't come from the wickedness of the dead. It comes from the failure of the living. In rural Romanian cosmology, the dead become monsters only when the bond of care snaps. If you don't offer the pomane, if grief gets filed away too fast, or if the community shuts the dead out, well, that's the Strigoi, the embodiment of guilt. It's the shadow of an unfulfilled duty, coming back to haunt whoever's left behind. Those Romanian peasants had figured out something simple but terrifying. If you bury your grief too quickly, it doesn't disappear, it transforms. And it comes back to torment the living, just like a Strigoi. Understanding the Strigoi means facing our own fragility. The real threat isn't the dead rising from the grave. It's the pact that breaks between those who stay and those who are gone. Because the Strigoi isn't a monster, it's a soul that got stuck. A soul that never received what it needed to finish its journey. And now it's back, asking for what was denied. The monster, when you really think about it, isn't underground. It's the duty left undone, the promise broken. Romania has its own rules for appeasing the dead. But what happens when we move from Eastern Europe to Japan, where spirits rise from dark waters, driven not by the need for peace, but by pure thirst for revenge. In the next video, we'll dig up the truth about the Yurei, Japanese spirits who aren't looking for redemption. They want revenge, nothing else. Folklore doesn't just live in dusty books. It lives in the stories we whisper to each other, in the rituals we've forgotten, in the fears we can't quite explain. What about you? Have you ever heard stories like this in your family? A grandmother who talked about a dead relative coming back, some strange ritual to keep everyone safe? Write me those memories. That's the real folklore, the kind that refuses to die.